Hi everyone, you've arrived at Todd's World of Cooking. Today we're taking a trip to Jamaica, and I'm going to show you how to make jerk chicken. Now I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that notification bell so you get notifications whenever I add a new recipe. Now here are all the ingredients you're going to need. Alright, so let's get started. In a blender, you're going to add your roughly chopped onions, followed by your garlic. And this is a whole head of garlic that we're going to use, and you don't need to chop this at all. You can just throw the heads in there. Or the cloves. Those are cloves. A whole head of cloves. Next, we're going to put in our roughly chopped scallions. And our ginger. You do not need to peel the ginger for this. Just throw that in there. Followed by our thyme. The thyme you just want to rough cut or rough chop. You can leave the stems on. If they're real woody, I would go ahead and take the woody parts off, but otherwise the stems are just fine to put in there. And never use your knife as a scoop, like I just did. Next we're going to put in our peppers. Those are seeded. You don't have to seed them, and you can put in more if you like it hot. Next comes our brown sugar, our cinnamon, allspice. This is ground allspice. You can put in pimento if you like, if you have it. Next is our nutmeg, freshly ground black pepper, kosher salt, and now for our liquids we're going to put in soy sauce, white vinegar, the olive oil, orange juice, and we're going to squeeze our lime in there. You want to make sure that you have a lime that has a bruise on it, because that always looks really pretty. Just squeeze that whole lime in. That's half of it. We're going to go for the other half in just a second. And now that we have all of our ingredients into our blender, we're going to go ahead and put the lid on and give that a good blend. Notice I'm not making you listen to the blender. Now I'm going to give this a little struggle to get the top off of the blender. There we go. And isn't that marinade beautiful? For those of you who like a side view of the blender, there you go. Alright, enjoy. And now we're going to pour the marinade over the chicken. I'm using chicken wings. Today you can use any type of chicken. You can do legs, you can get a whole chicken and cut it up. I'm just doing chicken wings today. And just massage that marinade into the chicken. Get all those nooks and crannies filled up. We want to make sure that the chicken, each piece, is totally covered with the marinade. We're reserving the other half of the marinade. We're going to use that for basting as the chicken is cooking. And you can also put some of that marinade into a pot and cook it down a little bit, get it nice and hot, and use that as a sauce once the chicken is cooked and you're ready to serve. An interesting fact is that jerk chicken can be traced back to the Maroon people all the way back to the mid-17th century. Now that we have our chicken completely coated with the marinade, we're going to cover it in plastic wrap. I like to have the plastic wrap in contact with the chicken and marinade and then cover the top. We're going to refrigerate this overnight. You could also use a zip type bag if you like. That's up to you. It might actually be easier to use a zip bag than to use a bowl. It certainly would take up probably less space in the refrigerator. And as it's marinating, you might want to get in there a couple of times and turn the chicken around just to make sure that everything is evenly coated. Okay, here it is the next day. Our chicken has been nicely marinated overnight, and I'm going to be baking this in the oven. I'm using a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. Traditionally, you would cook this over an open fire or on a barbecue, but not everybody has a barbecue or open fire, so that's why I'm showing you how to do it in the oven. What I'm going to do is have the oven preheated at 400 degrees. Bake it for about half an hour, and then turn the oven up to 500 degrees for about 10 minutes, and then back down to 200 degrees and let it bake for another 30 to 40 minutes. And that way you're going to get that nice crispy outside on the chicken. Now for a fun fact about how I learned how to make jerk chicken. I used to go to Jamaica a lot, and on one of my trips I was in Montego Bay, and I came across a little restaurant. It was a shanty restaurant, and the owner and cook made the most delicious jerk chicken and rice and peas. It was just amazing food. And he showed me how to make jerk goat. Now, I won't tell you where we got the goat from, but it involved a bus. But he showed me how to make the marinade for that, and it turned out absolutely delicious. And that's how I learned how to make this marinade for jerk chicken. Now we're going to put that in the oven, and when it comes out, you're going to be absolutely amazed. I'm serving it with rice and peas and a salad. This salad dressing, I'm going to give you the recipe for that. It's really delicious. You'll want to try it. That recipe makes about 5.5 to 6 ounces, so you might want to double it. I usually quadruple it. But it is absolutely delicious. You just throw all the ingredients into a food processor. And there you have it. Jerk chicken. Jamaican. Absolutely delicious. Thanks for watching, and have an awesome day.